Hello, Williams class. For your English lesson today, the learning objective is, remember we're writing about non-chronological reports. Learning objective is, can I write out the first section of our non-chronological report about Mrs. Bowen? As a starter activity, we are going to create sentences with some useful sentence starters. Now, each time I spin the wheel, it will land on a sentence starter. Try to use these sentences, or try to use these in sentences of your own. Now, to get to the wheel yourself, I have left a link here for you, and hopefully it should be in the blurb as well. So if you visit the link, it should take you to that wheel and you should be able to do it yourself. Now, we're going to look at the box up and the ideas that we wrote down yesterday, and we are going to write the first part of our non-chronological report together. So, using the box up, let's now write our introduction together. So, if I was to have a look at what we've written for the introduction of our text map, so remember the text map which is about Boudica, which you should all have access to on Tapestry now, fingers crossed. When we looked at the text map on Boudica last time, we did come up with some features of what that text map includes. So for example, let's just focus on our introduction for today's lesson. The introduction for our text map on Boudica involved rhetorical questions. There was the introduction to what the whole non-chronological report is about. There was also a little read on to find out more, and we know that it was written in the past tense. So looking at that and thinking about what we mentioned in our box up last time, let's now write our introduction. If I look at my text map, could I include a rhetorical question? Why don't we start off with a rhetorical question? Let's go for it. So let's say, what could we start our introduction as? I think we should write, do you want to know more about Mrs. Bowen, TLAP's great leader? Let's write that. So capital D, do you want, now remember the long letters should look nice and long, finger spaces as well. Try with your cursive. Do you want to learn? I'm going to move my camera just so it's going to be nice and visible. Do you want to learn more about Mrs. starts with a capital letter, capital B for her name, comma, we'll write our great leader. So look, my ideas change while I'm doing my box up and writing up my ideas. You might be experiencing the exact same, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Our great leader. Lovely. And then remember, a rhetorical question has to end with a question mark. So we've already done our first sentence there. Do you want to learn more about Mrs. Bowen, our great leader? Maybe our introduction shouldn't say exactly, it shouldn't have the key details about her life. I feel like let's change it up and just keep the introduction as a way of introducing the reader to the box up, or not the box up, to the non-chronological report. So even though in our last box up together, we did mention that we would write about her early life and her interests, I think we should keep that for the main part of the non-chronological report. So let's stick to just introducing the non-chronological report. So let's say then, what is this report going to be about? This report will give you details about Mrs. Bowen's, don't forget your apostrophe, Mrs. Bowen's life, comma, especially, nice little conjunction there, especially what inspired, keyword there, so you can include your keywords as early on as the introduction. What inspired her to become let's write teacher, because she did start off by teaching, full stop. So, do you want to learn more about Mrs. Bowen's, oh, no, hang on. So, do you want to learn more about Mrs. Bowen, our great leader? This report will give you details about Mrs. Bowen's life, especially what inspired her to become a teacher. Full stop. We can start or continue with the sentence that we saw in our Boudica text map. It started off with read on to find out more. So we can take inspiration from that and include that in our own non-chronological reports introduction. So read, capital R, read on to find out more. Find out more about what, boys and girls? I'm going to say find out more about Mrs. Bowen's journey from teacher to what she is now, which is head teacher. From teacher to head teacher. Lovely, full stop. Never forget your full stops. And now it does say to write in the past tense as well. So we can have a sentence then at the end that will be written in the past tense. What could we say about her while saying in the past tense? Have a little think. I've got an idea of making this really fun. We can include fun fact. Mrs. Bowen did not, let's see if you can remember this, did not, oops, Bowen did not, let's see if you can remember or if you're starting to understand what I'm going to write, did not always want to be a teacher. And because that's such a fun fact, that's such an interesting one, because now she's the best head teacher ever. It's so surprising that she never wanted to be a teacher though in the beginning. Just at the beginning, remember, she did want to be a teacher by the end of her journey from child to teacher. Because it's such a fun fact, I'm not going to end it with a full stop. I'm going to end it with an exclamation mark. I think that's really, really good as an introduction. So let's just have a final read. Let's make sure that we've really nicely introduced what our report will be about. So it starts off as, do you want to learn more about Mrs. Bowen, our great leader? This report will give you details about Mrs. Bowen's life, especially what inspired her to become a teacher. Read on to find out more about Mrs. Bowen's journey from teacher to head teacher. Fun fact, Mrs. Bowen did not always want to be a teacher. Lovely, we've got our rhetorical question, we've got a sentence telling us what the report will be about, we've got a little sentence to make us want to read because we want to know what made her become a teacher, we want to know what made her become a head teacher, and then we've got a nice little sentence in the past tense with a nice fun fact, and we've ended with an exclamation mark, so we've got different punctuation there as well. So, your tasks now, boys and girls. I'm just going to move my face away from the word wall. Task number 1 then is to write out the introduction that we have done together for your non-chronological report. Now, in class, normally, when we are doing this type of activity, we're doing it as a class. So I'm taking ideas from you and we're sharing ideas and we're writing out a paragraph that we're all in agreement with. However, because obviously some of you are at home, some of you are at school, I myself am at home, quite tricky to do the activity in the same style. So we've had to switch it up a little bit where I've put in my ideas. And I have looked at the features that have been in the class map that's about Boudica. So that it's made sure that we've included everything that we need to include in our introduction. So you can just pause on this part. I'll move the camera and I'll scroll down so you can see the whole introduction. So all you have to do is just write this out as you see it. That is task number 1. Then task number 2 will be to choose 5 of the sentence starters below and create your own sentences about Mrs. Bowen. So the 5 sentence starters are going to be found in this selection, and the words, the sentence starters that are available to you are sometimes, this is a, even though, despite, although, furthermore, frequently, despite the fact, strangely enough, imagine, amazingly, often, normally, usually, in summary, incredibly, unlike, like many, in addition, generally. So those are the sentence starters, and you're going to choose 5 of them and create your own sentences about Mrs. Bowen. Once you have finished that, your third and final task is to write your own introduction for the non-chronological report about Mrs. Bowen. So the reason why you're writing out my one first is to just get you into the practice of remembering your capital letters, your finger spaces, your punctuation, especially your commas. It's just to get you into practice. Task number 3 is going to give you your own opportunity to write out your own introduction. So if you're looking at my introduction and thinking, I wouldn't write what Mrs. Schoolsall wrote, you can just wait, be patient, and write your own ideas in task number 3. You are given the chance to do so. So enjoy William's class. That is your English lesson for today, your 3 tasks for your English today. I hope you enjoy. I hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you very, very soon.